back to Momentous Struggle. On this week's episode, I guess we're going to talk about my toxic negativity that I have been expressing throughout the interwebs lately, because Aubrey's like, you need to stop, you're horrible, people hate you now, and you're ruining everything, so you need to stop. So Aubrey wanted to sit there and put me on blast about it, so here we are.
You know, Todd, I could just stop the recording, end the session. We could go home. Oh wait, we're already home. Lying.
Oh, Aubrey, how are you, sir? It feels like forever since I've seen you, and it was less than 12 hours ago that you left my house from playing a game, so...
Oh no, how am I feeling, Todd? Let's see. Well, first I got beat up by Chris, then I got beat up by someone else, and now I'm tired and grumpy, and I want a blankie and a baba and a night-night.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. You should not be cranky and wanting to go night-night. Sorry, it doesn't work that way.
But I'm still tired. No, it's been a long week, Todd. And then well, I mean, I'm still continuing the train of trying everything except for the stuff that everyone has already told me is the best stuff to do with Balin. Congratulations, you all. I'm over it. I'm officially done experimenting with the not best stuff with Balin. It's what is it? It's finally over. I'm Frodo at the end of the Lord of the Rings. I'm done.
Throwing your plastic miniatures into the volcano. Got it. Okay, here we go.
Oh no! Only Grief Karga. Only Grief Karga. I was led astray. Todd.
I never said it was good.
Todd gave me a ring of power, and it was cursed.
Yeah, no, it was. I never said it was good. Never said it was good at all. Yeah, I mean, I know you've had a long work week and everything like that. So, yeah, we could definitely I want to hear about your games. But before we jump into that, I do want to give a shout out to all of our patrons. I want to try and, like I said, try and be a little more consistent, at least every so many episodes. Like, shout out all of our patrons and all the support that they give us. So I want to thank Jerrybowinkle, Dion, Michael, Sheev, Nick, Mountain Mike, Mr. Pink, Dylan, Brady, Accuser, Silver Lining, Sin, Daimyo Matt, Sampson, Matt Bucher, Eric B, Kenny, Indy Gamer, Jake, Nathan, Kevin, and Retiosanti for all the support that you guys give us. You guys are amazing, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
But yeah, so you, Aubrey, had played 2 games. You I mean, to be fair, when I play Chris Sampson, I expect that I'm going to lose pretty much every time because he's just that good at playing games. I mean, he really is. I mean, that's one of the things, like, again, about our community, which is amazing, is that we have some very high caliber players, and that means that you're going to get your teeth kicked in pretty consistently by these great players, being, between Bucher and Sampson and the Raider brothers. It's like, yeah, there's multiple GT champions in just in our local meta. So it's like, this is not the best for, like, if you're wanting to sit there and be like the best player, well, you got an uphill battle in Arizona, that's for sure.
Who said I was trying to be the best player? I'm just trying to remember all my triggers still. Like, come on.
Fair enough.
That's my goal.
Fair enough.
If I remembered my triggers, or felt like I was at least intentional with my plays, I'm already winning that game. I don't care what the outcome is on Longshanks. Like, I feel like if I played well, then I did my part.
Right. Yeah, no, understandable. So how was your game? Because so the game that you played with Chris, you ended up playing the Balin Bounty Hunter list that, like, we kind of talked about last week, which I prefaced that way back when, saying this is not a good list. It might be fun or something different to do with Balin, but not going to be that great. So what did you think about the list?
That's not what I heard in our last episode, Todd. I'm sorry. I was too busy listening to you being extremely negative and grumpy the whole time, so maybe I'm misremembering. But
That is
but
true.
no, I remember you saying that this would win a GT and that it was the next best Balin list and that everybody playing the Mandalorians were wrong. That's
They
what
are
I heard.
completely. That is exactly what I said. Yes.
Now, wait, but back up. Hang on, Todd. How are you doing? You didn't tell the listeners. How is Todd?
You know what? I'm good. I think like I'm sure at some point in time after we talk about our games, we'll jump into the different Todd from last week because I know I jumped in, came in kind of hot with being negative about the state of the game. Uh, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I like this game, and I think that where all of that came from is just a frustration about where we see our games as TOs, as content creators. Like, I think, from the outside looking in, I mean, as someone who plays it, okay, you pick up the game, you go to your weekly meetup, bi-weekly meetup, play once a week. For me, it's like, okay, we sit there and get up every Sunday morning and record for an hour and a half or whatever. Then I do the editing, then, I'm planning TO events and stuff like that. So there's more of an investment of my time, especially over the last 3.5 years that this game has been around. So I think that's one of those where when you see like something that you've invested as much time as you and I have into this, there's a you're more invested, I think, than the average player. So I think that causes a little bit more of the emotions to come through. But we'll talk about that probably in more detail. But so, I mean, but outside of that, I'm doing good, man. Like in the middle of all the birthday gauntlet that happens in our house, like my wife had her birthday, mine's coming up, and then the kids are after that. So all 5 people in this house have a birthday within 2 weeks of one another, and it's expensive and scary.
Yeah. I applaud your efforts. I think you just have one giant super duper extra birthday, even though I know that that's not what people like ever. I'm like, nope, Todd, throw in the towel. Nope. You get one birthday
To,
party.
so to be fair, we do that for the kids where everyone comes over and like we do like a group thing where it's like a big family party where all the family members come over and we hang out, have lunch, give the kids their presents, stuff like that. But then the kids can also do their own individual thing with their individual friends and stuff like that. Because there's a 20-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 10-year-old. They're not all going to want to do the same thing. So it's like, no, they have to. But so they go off and like, okay, hang out with one or a couple of friends and do their own thing.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. But still, as I'm preparing soon to enter the December gauntlet of Talia's birthday, her sister's birthday, and Christmas, and then New Year's, and her whole family really likes to play up Christmas to the upteenth degree. So it really feels like you're celebrating Christmas for an entire month and not just one week. In addition to all of those birthdays, I
Right.
resemble your pain.
Yep. Yeah, it just happens at different times for us. But yeah, no. So overall, I'm doing good. Just trying to, like I said, survive. The month of August is always painful for my wallet and for my soul, but it works.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right,
So
Todd.
so your
Apparently,
games,
no. Apparently, I'm leading this discussion because you're speed running the
you are.
episode. No. Next. How is your hobbying? Because you may or may not have showed me something pretty cool last night.
Oh yeah. So doing good. I mean, like you got to see like in person for a change my what do you call it, the 501st that I did. I think like I am not good at photographing my miniatures and stuff like that. So I don't think it shows. Like sometimes, like I think that's just in general. Unless you're like a professional miniature photographer or a professional painter, it's really hard to really capture how good your paint jobs can be. So like you get to see it like in person, like, and I was really happy with like my 501st and Rex like that I did in that dark
Yeah.
blue scheme. But yeah, and then I was working on the shore troopers, and actually like kind of went all out with the bases, kind of doing like like a dirt background and then putting some rocks on it, and actually used a water effect so it looks like they're actually in like a light, like a low tide water, like kind of like at the beginnings of a beach or something like that. So that was really fun, kind of playing around with the water effects. I haven't played around with those before, so it was really kind of interesting actually using those and kind of seeing how those work and stuff like that. I think that's need to experiment with them a little bit more, but I think they're fun to use. I think they add something different to the bases, especially with like Shatterpoint bases, because I think everyone kind of does them pretty much the same at this point in time. So it was kind of fun to mess around and do something different there. How
Yeah,
about you?
that's
I mean, I know that
that's
you've been
cool.
working with well, I'm so bad with Chris's brother. Why I'm always bad with his name.
Just Justin.
Justin, thank you. I know so many Justins. It's like should be easy, but yeah, I know Justin comes over a lot, and you guys do a lot of painting as well. So
Yeah,
like,
so
how has your journey's been going with all of that?
so I have to say my latest one was a Trench Crusade model, not Shatterpoint. Although I have been slowly working through all of my Shatterpoint stuff and trying to get things a little more cleaned up. But I was really happy because this particular model I really love because it's a model agnostic game technically, so you can use whatever you want. But I really liked this one model, the actual like the official model from the game and the concept art, like the everything about it. I just was like, no, I want to recreate exactly this because a lot of times I kind of do my own thing with Trench Crusade because you can. There's not really a quote unquote official uh scheme or anything. Like, you have different
Hmm.
you have different war bands, different stories, etc. But this one, I wanted to recreate the art, and I feel like I pretty much nailed it. The even when like I made a mistake, like I forgot to do a lighter undercoat before doing because like the cloak was like this like orange yellow color, but I had like a darker primer underneath and I forgot to undercoat it. That's on me. But as it was drying and I realized my mistake, I looked at it and I was like, it almost looks like we're gonna go with accidentally tactical, Todd. It looks like I purposefully like did dirty highlights on the cloak, but I didn't even have to do the highlights because it was just like the primer under the primer underneath. So it actually like it looks like he just like hopped out of the trenches and like his cloak's just dirty from fighting or whatever, which is part of the paint scheme because this was my first time doing because like we don't do this very often in Star Wars games, but part of the paint scheme was like blood effects on like his armor and sword, and like it was a little
Hmm.
messy. It was my first time trying to use one of those like effect paints because I think it was
Got
an
it.
army painter, like a glistening blood effect thing, and it's a little messy. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it turned out pretty good and looked good, and I still got to do some cleanup work, but that was a lot of fun because he had so many it was like it was silver armor and gold filigree and like little medals and shield pieces that all had to be painted like slightly different, and like this is probably the first time where I feel like my highlighting work came out exactly the way I wanted. Like I don't know, the stars aligned. Maybe all of this recent practice like we were talking about, I've been doing more painting recently, more consistently, and yay, it's doing the thing. So huzzah!
Nice. Well, and that's I think a big part of like the hobby is like you don't get better at painting until you actually like do the painting. You actually have to sit there and put the reps in. I mean, and like I said, it's nice that you have Justin coming over to kind of like give you like a little tips and pointers and stuff like that while you're painting if he's over like hanging out and stuff like that. Because I mean, to like, let's be honest, he's an amazing painter, and so it's like having someone like him to sit there and provide any type of feedback in real time is fantastic.
I will say to his credit, he does also let me wander off into the weeds because I'll be like, "Well, I want to try this," and he's like, "Okay."
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to learn by not. That you're going to learn like, okay, well, that didn't work. I'm not going to do that again. Or, you know what? I discovered something that I do like. So I'm going to keep on doing that. So it's like you kind of have to let someone make their own uh, take their own journey, take their own steps down the painting avenue, and see kind of how it all plays out. So I mean,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think that's, he's going to let you do that, which is nice.
Definitely, definitely. So that's about the only thing that I did this week. Sidebar: we're going to be playing Malediction later today, so I'm excited about that. But
Nice.
back to the what's our podcast about again?
I don't know anymore. I guess me being grumpy is from what I understand.
We're talking about Shatterpoint today, Todd. It's still
Oh, okay.
Shatterpoint.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, no, no. I mean, like I said, you got two games in with one with Chris, Justin's brother, and then uh, also you and I played. So which we recorded kind of. I like one of the cameras wasn't recording like how I set it up properly and then didn't put it on the right screen to record, so that was on me. So like I recorded the overhead of the game, but not the dice cam of the game. So I think I can probably find a way to edit it and make it somewhat viewable. I mean, it's not that it's unviewable. It's just that like you don't get the dice cam and see how the rolls and everything went. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see if I play around with it and put the effort in, or if I just go, you know what, too much.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It's all right. We're trying something new. We've been wanting to do battle reports for a long time, but I mean, you have kids, I have older kids. It's life
Right,
is a lot.
right,
I understand why people turn this into a job, but I'm not doing that. I like my City of Phoenix pension.
right. Exactly. All right, so tell me about this game. Like I know, like I said, going into it, I know that the bounty hunters, especially Grief Karga, are not the best thing to do. So, what was your experience in this game?
So I'm not really gonna do a play by play to be perfectly honest because it was actually a pretty tight game. Like I mean we went to three struggles. We were playing on sabotage. Um like I'm just gonna share like the overall feeling of how it went. So what
Mm-hmm.
we're seeing with Balin and the way he works best is he lets everybody punch up on both offense and defense, right? Just full stop. And so, uh, to be clear, Chris was playing what I probably will end up trying next because I'm a glutton for punishment, but it's at least getting us closer to Mandalorians. Is he was playing PLC, Sabine, Rebel Commandos, and then Balin, Bo-Katan, and HKs, right? Basically, if you're not playing Shin, there's one of two other viable options. That well, not viable, competitive options with Balin, which is DTE or Bo-Katan. So he's playing Bo-Katan and like yeah, and you have Sabine there so that you can make full use of Bo's kit and I will say, even actually, I will just quote Chris at the end. He was like, "I'll be perfectly honest. I didn't think that was gonna go as well as it did for you."
That's funny. I
like
mean,
he
like I
thought
said,
he
it
was gonna.
wasn't a good list.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't get to play a lot of games, and I needed to get a league game in. And I mean, I almost didn't get a league game in. There was all kinds of miscommunication and assumptions being made, but that's how I wasn't even there to play Chris, but that's what happened. It's fine. We move on. Communication with human beings is difficult for
Can
everyone
be.
involved. But like the Balin did what Balin does, which he gave all of my models a little bit more defense, a little bit more offense. I never felt like I was behind in the game unless I was activating Grief Karga. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Todd. Uh, but here's the problem with essentially that list. What we determined is that Balin gives you the ability to punch up, but if your expertise tree is just awful, it doesn't matter that he's giving you a chance to punch up. And my word, how Grief Karga has not received a touch of any kind. His dice pool is bad, his expertise is bad, and even and I hate to say it, but like the bounty hunters, because I know you and I kind of feel the same. Like we've always felt they're a pretty solid all arounder that you could just kind of slot in anywhere, although they've fallen off. But I hadn't looked at their expertise in a while, Todd. They they need like another line, like full
Yes.
stop. Like I don't
Right.
understand. It felt I could very keenly feel that I was playing with models that had not been errated. Like I was playing with old expertise on offense and defense, and it didn't matter that I was able to change results and make things better, and I had more dice on defense when their expertise charts just couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah. No, they're not that great. Like I said, it was more of an interesting uh experiment in something different to do, because that's ultimately what we're looking for, was what is something different you can do with Balin. So yeah, I kind of expected that your game to go as it did. I mean, it might have been better if you weren't playing against someone like Sampson.
Well, I mean, there there is that. There was also just, I mean, there's always a couple of times like I could point at different dice rolls or different priority objectives or whatever, but I never felt out, like I never felt out of the game, or I never felt like, oh, if I had just gotten this one more thing I would have won. It was just, even
Mm.
game, back and forth, and then slowly but surely, you know, Chris pulled the advantages. What I will say of interest, Bosk and Han and Chewie, so little bit newer models, a little bit better expertise. They both performed very well with the Balin shenanigans attached to them.
Okay.
So that's something to think about if you're still going or wanting to go like a scoundrelly route with
Mm.
them. I almost wonder if you do something with the Mandalorian, like Mando Boss Khan and Chewie, and then like Bo Katan. Like I mean, all roads will go back to Mandalorians. I'm sorry that like we're just
Right.
that's what's going on here. But if you really wanted to try something similar, but that would punch up a little better, I would throw Bosk and Han and Chewie under Mando. Now I'm not gonna play this, Todd. I'm moving on. But if you were gonna do it, don't bring Grief Karga. I'm sorry, and probably don't bring Bounty Hunters. I hate it. I love, because I still like the Bounty Hunter unit, but there there's my reports, Todd. And any questions?
No, no. I think you. I mean, like, and like I said, I think that was kind of what it would have been expecting. Is, for the most part, is that was not going to be the best of stuff to play and everything along those lines. So, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I think like you going with Bo and something else under Balin is always probably the best way to go, because he's just that, like, the rest of the stuff that can go under him is just not that great,
Yeah,
especially at
it,
the
it
support.
yeah, it is. It is what it is, and also part of this may have been like Grief Karga's best thing to do is like to move all the bounty hunters away from him, but my bounty hunters activated before him, so he never even got to do his like his his poor man Iden impression. Like
Right.
he never got to do that. So it is what it is.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, sounds like it was a pretty, like it was an interesting experiment anyway. And then you and I played. I mean, like I said, we'll see if that video ends up getting up. Like you ended up, so you played into me. I was playing Vader, the same list I played in my last league game, where I played Vader with Rex and the 501st, and then Hunter with basically his box using Wrecker and Omega as a secondary. And I know it was just interesting for you because you hadn't played against, that against Wrecker in so long. His bubble was very annoying to you, I think, was having that protection steadfast bubble that he provides.
Yeah, yeah. So I ran back because again we were doing a battle report, so wanted painted models because let me tell you, Grief Karga was only going to get painted, Todd, depending on the results of his game. He fell off of his base and is going to continue to be unpainted is the result there. But anyway, so I ran back just to confirm, just to with finality, I ran back by Ahsoka, Shakti, Arfs, and Balin Box just to see one last time. Is Shin up to snuff? Who did I activate first, Todd? Who was the first card from my order deck after we shuffled?
Oh, and
Who?
it was quite hilarious that it was Shin-Hati. That was absolutely hilarious. Like it was like made for TV that you just decided like to pull Shin-Hati. You're like, you know what? This is going to be the best turn one that I have is Shin-Hati, since I can't reserve her. And she was on the same side as Vader and Rex in the 501st. So and I mean, of course, you just moved her up to the center line and had her sitting there waiting to, take that point. So she was center. We were playing on shifting, so she was center right on the left hand side of my left to your right hand side. So that was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, it was great. Remind me, Todd, what was your first activation in that game?
So
Hmm?
after you did
Hmm?
that, moved her all the way to the center line, I ended up pulling Vader, and it's Vader 1. So that was kind of cool for me
Yeah,
anyway.
it was great for you. Great. I had to watch my baby girl get punted into next week by Daddy Vader.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. It was kind of cool to watch that happen. So
So what did I never get to do for the rest of the game? Never got to do trade to be something more. What's the one thing I want to do with Shin at least some of the time in my games?
well, not that. You don't want to do that. That her ability is like it's so boring. So why would you want to sit there and actually be able to reposition and make a 5 dice attack? That doesn't sound like something exciting to do at all.
Lasai. Lasai. Okay, all right. After the Shin proved yet again why Shin needs that line to be deleted from her card. I mean the rest of the game was, I guess, a study in perseverance, Todd, because because despite those early that early beating that Shin took, I took pretty good control of struggle one, like because I was able to score four a couple of times. Like we did it's shifting. We did the whole 3-3-3 thing back and
Yeah.
forth for a little bit while getting points, but then I was able to um what was it? I got no, the
At
ARFs
one point in
went
time,
later.
but at one point in time, you had all three of the center points and your back point. And was not getting the things that I needed to basically flip those points back to me. It was either
Well,
the dice
yeah.
rolls weren't.
No, go
No,
ahead,
go ahead.
Todd. I'm not.
Well, I was gonna say like the dice rolls, the like where what I was activating just wasn't really getting me where I needed to go. I mean, and you were getting like you were activating exactly like you were getting good activations. You were getting good flips for taking those objectives for sure.
Yeah. Well, and if you think back to that struggle, the one of the reasons I was able to pull so far ahead were your bottom two cards were your supports because 501st and Echo and Tech went either last or close to last. So I was just
They were the
out
last two,
bodying you.
yeah. Right, yeah. You were able to just put everybody up forward, and it was like I said, Vader going early, having him there, and like you could have actually killed, like wounded him earlier, but elected not to because you didn't want his clapback, I believe, to happen. So there was some interesting like play that happened, and then like so you took struggle one pretty easy. Struggle two really came to me pretty fast actually. Like the flip was pretty decent for me. I think I won that in what like three activations, maybe two.
Oh yeah, no, it was fast. It was two, yeah, it was two or three because you were able to take all 4 points if I remember right, like just immediately with the flip, and then I don't think I was even able to take anything back, and then my next activation was ARFs, and I was like, no, nope. There's nothing I could do. I didn't even try to take a point. I just moved them on to two other, two inactive objectives to set up for struggle 3. Like this was a textbook. I'm not fighting over struggle 2. No, no. There's no
Mhm.
universe where this is going my way. So I just set up for the next struggle.
Right. And struggle 3, I mean, like the flip was pretty good for you because you controlled 2 out of the 3 points that were active. So like you were in a pretty good position to start with right off the rip.
Yeah, yeah, because the ARFs were in a good position. They took one of the objectives. I had the other one, and then I took an object because it was my activation. Struggle 3. I took all of the points, and I was like, ooh, okay, all right, here we go. And
Right.
then, and then, Todd, what happened after that?
Well,
After that commanding
so
start?
I mean, I slowly started pulling it back my way. It was like it was the funny part about it was I was pulling it back enough to where it was like you would have to score 3 points and get a wound or score all 4 points in order to win the game. So like I would pull it like you would score, I'd pull it back to like 3 between each one of between you and winning. Um and it would like you wouldn't get you either wouldn't get the priority point, but I kept on getting because I was pulling it back but not going on my side of 0 every single time. I was getting momentum, so like I kept on just getting momentum, getting momentum, and then it got to a point where it's like, oh, now I'm like getting all of my people on the bodies. I had 6 wounds that game compared to you had 2. So I think like the attrition battle at the end of the game really hurt you because it was like, okay, I could outbody you because you just had a bunch of wounded people. It was really what it
Yeah,
turned
yeah.
into, unfortunately.
Reminds me, now we got to talk about Wrecker's frickin' bubble because oh my word, between that and you got a bunch of heals off of one of your attacks with Hunter, and then Wrecker
Mm-hmm.
kept getting like his block and a heal. Like the bubble and the heals were just keeping your guys from ever getting wounded. Like it was a rough time because I mean, not that a Balin list can't be more controlling, but ultimately it does want to eventually get some wounds. Like it's definitely
Right.
on the aggressive side of control. Like I mean, I'm playing a revenge version with Ahsoka. You have diceless displacement and Balin and Shock T. Although that was also part of it. Like we only went through 2 shuffle, or I mean, original deck and then 1 shuffle. So we didn't even get all the way through our order deck again. So Shock T got bullied off of a point and then sat there and did nothing for the whole rest of the game. So that was something.
Right.
But uh it it just felt like I could never actually get to the wound because that protection bubble just kept making particularly the ARF attacks like they max out at 5 they max out at 5 damage. Like they can't do more, well, unless there's conditions or something already present, but then we're not just talking about the ARFs. And I could just not focus fire anybody down because of Wrecker's bubble.
Right. Yeah, record just goes like going, no, you have protection or protection steadfast, so like you couldn't shove people off points with like your attacks. It was really I could see the frustration behind that for sure because it just you were getting, it's like you had decent attacks, but it's like they just were like coming up a little too short. And then again, like you said, like Hunter being able to do a lot of what he did because I did the one attack where it's like, okay, well, I'm not worried about killing you on this one, so I'm going to sit there and heal 3 because I full treed on his. I think it was on his. I believe the knife fighter side is the one that has the 3 heals, so I was able to get like all the way down his tree and get 3 heals, and then. That, it was just I could see the frustration of it all, like being able to do everything that he was able to do. And again, like Hunter or Wrecker consistently giving him that protection bubble to where it's like, oh, well, 3 damage down to 2 or 4 damage down to 3. Oh, I healed 3 damage back. It's like, that was rough, rough for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then and I thought about this after I left your house, Todd. but I'm gonna break down the area where I thought I made a mistake. But I went over it again in my head, and I think the actual mistake I only made was going with Balin. I apparently should have reserved Balin on this turn, but there was a moment in struggle 3 where I was trying to take the center objective from you, and I pulled Balin, and Balin does the maul thing. I mean, it's a more expensive version, but you pull somebody off a point, you wound a model, and then you can take the point. Because I think it was one. I think you had. I think did you have two models on there, or maybe I just
I
only had
had I
one?
had no, I had two. I think I had Wrecker at that point in time was on it, I believe, as well
And the
as
501st.
501st. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
you
so
needed
I was
to wound one and pull the other one off.
Yeah, so I was looking at the angles, because the other concern was is that you had wounded Balin, so I only had 4 force available to me. I didn't particularly want to use all of that force, and also I could not like dash with him and pull because that would have made the angles work. He was also engaged with Rex, so my movement was going to be short as well. So like it was in a pretty tight spot, and so what I did do, and if the video ends up working, you can all look and judge me for these angles, is I dashed forward, dropped down, and then I kind of went into the tank with this because of how weird the angles were, because like I either needed to move with Balin again and pull, or pull and then move with Balin, or pull attack. And but the problem was is all of the parameters led to these really weird angles, and I think I finally just said to you, I'm like, I'm just gonna make an action and move on because like I you can't pre-measure, which is so dumb,
Mhm.
but I was like, I'm just gonna try it. Well, I wound Wrecker, but spoilers, Todd, what happened with my pull angle?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think there was a way where you were going to get a good. There was not a way for you to sit there, be one on the point, two being able to put an attack into Wrecker in order to either to wound him or bully him off of the point, and three pull the 501st to where they were no longer on the point as well. So it was kind of like it was really kind of rough, basically, the way that it really worked out, because like we were looking at, well, if you pull the 501st before you do an attack, well, then you pulled the 501st into melee with you, and you would have to melee into them, and you wouldn't be able to do the attack into Wrecker. It was a mess, like is really what it came down to. So I think it was. I don't think there was a good. There might have been a different way to position it. We can probably definitely look at the video afterwards and see if there was a better way to position him, but I don't know if there was or not, because like there were so many models all bunched up in that one particular place that I don't think, because you also had a wounded, either injured or wounded. No, it would have been injured. You also had the injured.
Wounded.
Was it wounded? Okay, you also had that's right. They were wounded. You also had the wounded HKs. So like the droids. So like they were taking up a space. So it's like, and they weren't contesting a point because they were wounded. So that added to it, because like it made the positioning even harder for you. So it was rough for sure.
Yeah, because I went over it in my head, and at least based on what I remembered of all of the angles and everything, the actual mistake. Because at first I thought I just messed up the pull, and I was like, ugh, I was I was a little frustrated because I thought I messed up the angles and that there was a way out. But then I was telling Talia about it at home, and I was thinking about all the positions, and I think the actual mistake was not reserving Balin. But it's kind of it's kind of hard to make that evaluation when you're so used to, well, I'm going to pull somebody off a point, hit somebody else off of the point, because I don't think that his attack wounded Wrecker. He has a lot of shoves,
It
and
didn't.
so I was able to get him off the point. And so that's the frustrating thing, is that if you need to remove two bodies off of a point and you draw Balin, are you going to think, "Oh, no, I'm not going with Balin. I'm gonna pull a
Right.
different card." Like, but that kind of led me into this problem where I ended up spending 2 force on his dash. I did get the free ability, so I didn't have to pay for the pull. I didn't flip a point, and then we go into the following turn where you wake up Vader, because a little bit of back and forth happened. Like I moved Ahsoka onto another point because I wasn't taking the midpoint, so I moved her onto my back point because we were on the it was my back middle, the middle point, and then your back. It would be on my left side, your right side. Those were the points that were on,
Right.
and so I moved Ahsoka towards my other objective I think to reinforce it, because
No,
I
you
think I
just
had
took it.
left it. Oh, did I just take it? Oh, I just took. Okay, so I took
Yeah.
that point. But then this kind of leads to, and I remember now, Todd. This wasn't a mistake either. I thought it was a mistake, but it wasn't a mistake. But what happened next?
So yeah, so now you have 2 force left, and I wake up Vader, who you just wounded with, I believe earlier with, finally wounded him with somebody. I can't remember who. And Vader was able to run all the way over to where Ahsoka was, and put an attack into her. And I ended up getting, I did all the stuff. I took the Vader dice. I did um, his Furious Rush or whatever it's called. So basically, I think what I had did a total of 11 damage and had 3 shoves on her. So I was, no matter what, even though she had her jump, I was able to shove her to where she was not going to be able to jump back onto the point, and I was going to be able to take it from you. Um, so there was that piece of it. The problem was, um, you probably could have jumped onto the center point. Now that I think about it, but oh well, I digress. So anyway, sat there and pushed him there, and then you decided to use your last 2 force to basically half the damage because that was going to wound her. So then you're completely out of force at that point in time, which was, I think, the biggest thing that hurt you more than anything was that. I mean, which makes sense. It's like, do you really want your primary to go down and be wounded completely, or in that case you were put what 5 damage onto Vader in that particular scenario.
Yeah. So again, we talked about it after the game, and I kind of thought I had made a mistake there. Except, yet again, the mistake was just not. It was not reserving Balin from forever ago. Because
Right.
I did the math. Todd, you had already wounded my ARFs twice. Because then what happened is I flipped the ARFs that had they had um 6, yeah, they had 6 damage, strain, pin, and so the first thing I
Yeah.
had to do was recover them. But then I would have only had 2 force. Oh, no, 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 you wounded him after that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
So they wouldn't have left the board.
basically a string of events, because I misremembered. Okay. So basically it was reserving Balin, because I was led into this whole scenario where I didn't have enough force to defensive maneuver. And if I had just reserved Balin, gone with someone else, I would have ended up one deeper in my deck, and then I would have gotten my Shatterpoint card. And then I don't know if I would have won or not. Like, that's too many variables, because there would have been a completely different attacks, and Ahsoka might have been somewhere else. Like, who knows? But yeah, no, dang it. Here I was trying to give myself an out. I thought I didn't have enough force because I thought they had two wounds on them, and I couldn't pay for defensive maneuver anyway. But no, that happened the turn after that, because you wounded the ARFs
Correct.
right after that.
To
Okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, to
But
win the
bottom
game.
line is, what actually happened is that I had a strained, pinned 6 damage ARFs with no force to do anything with them. So the first action I have to take is recover, which I remove the pin in the strain, because YOLO, and then stare at the board in sadness, because the one ARF was being outbodied on your back point by Echo and Tech, and so he's gonna have
Right.
to punch them 5 dice. Woohoo! And then the other ARF, the only target nearby was Vader, which, yeah, I could shoot at him and potentially try to wound him. That didn't happen, but but that didn't flip the point because Vader would be sitting there all by himself. Like, even if I did wound Vader, nobody else was on that point. Everyone, you're 501st. I had shoved off with Ahsoka. You shoved Ahsoka off. Daddy Vader's just sitting there by himself going, come at me. You know.
Yeah.
Lasai.
It was rough.
Lasai.
It was rough.
Yeah. So that's how it ended. That's where we ended up. The ARFs did nothing to affect anything. They well, I did push. Remember, are you ready, Todd? What did I do? I did push a disabled veteran off of a cliff just to make a point.
You did push Echo off the side of the building. Like, I'm like, why you got to beat up on the disabled vet? But that's that's what Aubrey does. I don't know why. So rude.
I'm just a bully.
They're just a bully. But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, it was an interesting game. It's like I truly was like, I didn't like how it turned, just because it was like, man, you had that in the bag. It's like you probably should have won that one like two activations before I did, type of a thing. So it was a weird one.
What was it? It was at least 2 times, but it was either 2 or 3 times that I literally ended the struggle. The momentum token was 1 off from me winning, like just multiple times, and I'm like,
yeah,
I just needed 1 more point. Just needed 1 more point. Just needed. Wait, am I losing? What's happening?
Right. Yeah, it was wild. It was just wild watching that. But yeah, so I mean, it was an interesting game for sure. As always, I mean, like I said, definitely thankful for all of you guys that do tune in and listen, even though it's like probably been some not the most exciting things to listen to, but I appreciate it. And as always, guys, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.